Well, greetings, YouTube. Please definitely go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, or if you don't like it, tell me why in the comments below. If this is your first time turning into performance reviews, definitely go check out some of my other videos. I do vacuum reviews mostly, but today we're going to do an air purifier, which is kind of vacuum related. It's like a vacuum for your air, I guess you could say. I've got a particle counter here, and I'll get to this in a minute. But here I just have it sitting in my living room. This is a Blue Air. This is a 403 model. There's also a 405. They both do about 400 square feet. But the difference between this guy is it has just kind of a traditional knob. There's nothing special. It feels like a 90s air conditioner control for a car or something. It's very positive. The 405 has electronic controls that you can sync with your phone and Alexa and have Google spy on you. And, oh, I'm going to get demonetized there, oops. And all that other stuff. But it's an air purifier. You want basic. So when it's on low, it's really low. You don't really start to hear it till it's on the almost highest setting. And when you put on number 4, the highest setting, it is a little loud. Now something that's interesting is you would think the air is shooting straight out. It's actually shooting at an angle. There's a squirrel cage fan in here, and what that means is there's actually shooting out on a slant. So just keep in mind where you put it. The unit weighs about 33 pounds. It's got some nice carrying handles. And it's solid, you know, it's stamped sheet metal. It's nothing special, but it's pretty darn solid. One thing I have found is if you're moving it around or you want to vacuum under it, there's no wheels. Now you could probably add casters, but it's silly that from the factory that there are no wheels. One thing I do like is it uses the standard power cord like, you know, a computer or a nail flisk or something like that. So I really do like that. Now the label on the bottom is kind of misleading because it says designed and quality by Sweden, Blue Air, and then it says made in China. So it's made in China. And I have here the HEPA cartridge. I also have here an IQ Air GC unit, which is a carbon scrubber unit. But it does have a HEPA filter. But I wanted to just show in comparison, because it's hard to see online how big this thing is. And that really, compared to my IQ Air, it's not a whole lot of different. It is a little narrow, so in some tighter spaces, I guess, if you wanted to use it as an end table. But it's definitely about 6 inches longer than my IQ Air. Now, there's quite a few pros to the Blue Air, I think, over some of the other ones on the market. There's definitely some negatives, too. I think the first negative is this air purifier is $500. Now I say that as a negative because you can get an Austin Air for the same price, which will filter more square footage. So you're limited to 400 square feet. Now there's a 600 series model that does 700 square feet, which again, still really limited compared to the 1200 square feet the IQ Air will do. Now the IQ Air is twice the price though. So I guess the theory with the Blue Air is you put this in every room, or just the rooms that you need allergy filtration in. I think that's kind of, it's not something I want to do, but it is something I am kind of doing because my house is so big that I don't, neither one of these covers all square footage. So one sits in the living room, this sits in the bedroom. Now my bedroom's slightly bigger, but I do notice the difference when I go to sleep, and it does seem to deodorize the room. So I don't know if they're underrated or if just the shape of my room is kind of strange where it's at. Now, just show you the insides real quick. I just want to sit level here. Now, one thing I also noticed is when it's on, you can't see, but this blue light, it will light up the whole room. I actually take, at night, something over that light. So that's one little negative on this that's kind of probably not going to be talked about. But now when we open this, it's got a nice solid hinge. It's not a piano hinge, but the hinges are solid. I give you instructions on how to change it. And when we get into the filter, one of the great positives of this is there are replacements. You can buy filters for $30 or under if you don't mind going with a replacement. Now I've gone with a replacement, and I'm going to test it out, and I'll do a separate video telling you about that. But here's a genuine one after about 8 months. You're supposed to change them every 6 months. You know, it doesn't have a reminder on this particular model, so that's why I went over. And I think that might be a positive for going with the full digital, you know, Alexa controlled unit. Now, there's a couple other things going on in here. Right here, we have these little static brushes, and I'm not sure what this is supposed to do, but they seem to be grounding the unit or grounding the air when it comes in, which is kind of cool. Then you have the fan, the cage, and it looks like an empty computer case, like a big empty server case. If you ever saw one of those, like in the 90s or early 2000s, I'll put that in backwards. You guys are going to comment below. Oh, he doesn't know how to put the filter in. Yeah. So that goes in there. And then this is held together with just like a, it's like a latch like your dryer would have on it. And then it intakes from the rear, right here. And pet hair and stuff does build up on here, so I do vacuum it off occasionally. All this nastiness you see on the back of this filter, that builds up here. Again, I do vacuum it. I vacuum all my air purifiers. So let's compare it to the IQ Air. I've put it on number 4 on the IQ Air, which is kind of the medium setting. I'm going to let you listen to the difference. Turned it up to 5. So now that I've put this on kind of their mediums, let's bring it down to the low. Very positive click. Let's do that with the IQ Air. You can hear the IQ Air is a little bit quieter, but not by much. Again, if you put it in that medium setting you're going to use it on, it's relatively quiet. Well, I guess that's a good feature that turns off when the door's open. Well, we're going to particle test this. Oh, no, we're not going to particle test this. And the reason being is I do not have a working particle counter. So if you want to help us out with that, go on down to Patreon. Every little, even $2, $5, or a full-on particle counter helps us out with this cause. These things are expensive, and the one I bought kind of crapped out on me. So we have the next best thing. This is really not a scientific thing. I really don't like doing this, but I have a Halloween smoke machine here, and it's going to heat up, and it's going to create a bit of smoke. And we're going to turn the unit on and see how. We have a smoke machine in the corner. We have it on high. You can see it starting to smoke. Let's see what happens when we turn it on for just a few seconds. I'm going to go ahead and unplug the smoke machine. Alright, smoke machine is off. An unintended consequence, but I think a really good real-world test, is the smoke machine seems to puff after I turn it off and unplug it. But it's puffing about as much as you would from a cigarette or something like that. Now I did a video review. You can see it's mostly cleared up now, by the way. Look at the surrounding area. It's mostly cleared up, but not at the rate that you would expect the level of this unit to do. Again, this isn't really scientific. But as I started to say, I tried to do actual smoking in one of my reviews, and somebody complained that I was you filthy smokers, you're killing yourself. And social justice warriors just came out of the woodworks about that. So in order to try to please you, we're using this smoke machine here. Write in your comments below what you think about that in terms of what you think of this results. Again, not what I hoped for. Still a little smoky in here, but it's mostly gone away. Well, thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you think I'm doing it wrong, fire up the comments below. If you think I'm doing it right, fire up the comments below. Go follow us on Instagram. And I want to give a special shout out to Miss Sylvia Briskowitz, who provided this for us to test. So you always hear me talking about Patreon supporters. Well, this Patreon supporter actually brought this from Nebraska to me to test. So a big thank you to Miss Sylvia for that.